Hello, people, and welcome back to another session. In the previous session, we saw how do we actually go ahead and identify in one-way analysis of variance whether out of all the k groups that we have, whether at least two groups are different from one another. That was done using global F test, and that was the first level of statistical inference. Now, in this session, we'll be looking at the second level of statistical inference, which is nothing but the statistical inference to actually show which of the pairs of groups out of the k groups are actually different. So in order to do that, we will use pairwise t-test. So let me go ahead and remove this. So for pairwise t-test, my null hypothesis will be, for example, if I'm trying to hypothesize or if I'm trying to find out whether group I is different from group J out of the k groups. Okay, how will I do this? My null hypothesis will be that both the groups are not different, which means mu I is equal to mu J. And if this is the my null hypothesis, my alternative hypothesis will be that these two groups are actually different. All right. Another way to write this is mu I minus mu J is not equal to 0. So in order to find evidence for this alternate hypothesis, we need to go ahead and do a double-sided t-test, because we need to find evidence for both scenarios, whether my mean of the first one is greater than the second one and the second one is greater than the first one. So in order to do a t-test to find out if the pair of groups are different or the same, we need to again compare our test statistic with the critical t-value. In this particular case, this is my test statistic. Now, if you look at this, xi bar minus xj bar is going to be the difference of the sample means. SP represents mean square within. It represents mean square within. Ni number of observations in the sample I, and nj number of observations in sample j. So this test statistic has to be compared with our critical t-value, which will be calculating on the principle of a two-sided t-test. So let us go back to our previous example. In our previous example for this particular data set, we can, and let us suppose we want to compare groups Callaway and Nike. Let us compare all the three actually. Okay, let's go ahead and compare Callaway, Nike, Callaway Titleist, and Nike Titleist. Let's just compare all three of them. Okay. So for Callaway and Nike, let's calculate the t-value of each of them. So in Nike, Callaway and Nike, we have 285 minus 260 divided by square root of, in our previous example, we calculated mean square within as 62.5. Into 1 by 5 plus 1 by 5. Now, if you look at the denominator carefully, this denominator is going to be the same for all the three calculations of t value. So let us calculate the value of this denominator first. So my denominator will be equal to square root of 2.5 into 1 by 5 plus 1 by 5. Okay. I'm so sorry, I just forgot to put multiply here. Okay, now we have the denominator. I'll go back to my problem statement, and for the first, I'll write t, and this is a comparison between Callaway and Nike. So for this, your t critical comes out to be 5. If I have to do the same for Hitlist and Nike, how I will do it? I have to do 290 minus 260 divided by 62.5 to 1 by 5 plus 1 by 5. It comes out to be 6. We will do the same for, we had Callaway Nike, Titleist and Callaway. Now to do Titleist and Callaway, I'll do it directly here. It's 290 minus 285, and since we calculate our denominator as 5, it's going to be the same thing. This comes out to be 5 actually. See, my value of den is 5. Yeah. So Titleist Callaway is 290 minus 285 by 10. It comes out to be 1. And now we need to basically compare these calculated test statistics for all the groups with a critical t-value. So critical t-value will be calculating using the concept of two-sided t-test. We have alpha is 0.05. So as discussed in the past innumerable times, this is 0.95. This and this 0.05 and 0.0. Sorry, this is 0.025 and 0.025 because the combined area is 0.05. So this becomes 0. The area to the left of critical t value becomes 0.975. So we have to do a t-test with n minus k degree of freedom. So the pairwise t-test it will be done at n minus k degrees of freedom. So let's go back to our R and let's calculate the critical t value qt of 0.975 done at, we have the number of observations here were 15, 5 into 3, and k is 3. So we'll do it at 12. This is nothing but my t-crit. T-crit comes out to be 2.178. So as you can see for Callaway and Nike and Titleist and Callaway, sorry, for Callaway and Nike and Titleist and Nike, Titleist and Nike has T statistic as 6, Callaway and Nike has 5. Both of them are greater than this critical T value, but Titleist and Callaway, this one is less than the critical T value. So we can say that Callaway and Nike are different, Titleist and Nike are different, but Titleist and Callaway are not different. This is how pairwise t-tests are done to see out of all my k groups, which pair of groups are different from one another. In the next session, we'll be doing one more example. We will be taking a data set which is already available and we'll be importing that data set into R and doing all the calculations for both global F test and t-test. So I'll see all of you all in the next session. Thank you.